Join me today in installing a sunroof delete panel in my E46 ZHP sedan. I watched a couple other YouTube DIYs to figure out how to drop the headliner and A, B, and C pillars to get to this point. We're starting the day by removing the passenger seat, dropping the sunroof cassette, and test fitting the sunroof delete panel.
Let's take a look at where we're at now. This is an eBay panel. I don't recommend it, so I'm not even going to drop the link for what it is. But you can see that this corner is actually fitting pretty well. This back corner is starting to sag a little bit, and then the back doesn't fit at all. And if you go across the front, it's actually not bad. So here we are right now. As you can see, everything is completely mocked up. You can even see I'm using cardboard as spacers just to kind of get everything lined up right now. This eBay panel isn't wide enough, so I can't screw it directly into the body, because where it overlaps here is just the outside roof shell. I have to make a bunch of tabs, which I've started doing so far, and I'm just spacing more stuff out and figuring out what I need to do to cut it. This back part, what I'm talking about, is just making some more tabs, and I don't need any spacers in the back, luckily. It just should align to that roof rail right here. However, it's going to be like an inch of flex, and I'm just hoping that the fiberglass can take it. Pushing it up by hand, it's okay. As you can see up front, I'm also playing around with more cardboard and different pieces of scrap metal that I got. This stuff is pretty good, so what I'm going to do is take it apart, JB weld it together, so it's going to be good to go. It's because I have a bunch of dissimilar metals here, so I can't weld it together. And then once that part's done, I can paint this stuff so it doesn't start surface rusting and then look all bad when the car is all complete. But yeah, there we go. Totally don't recommend this panel, and it's going to take a lot more work to make it right, but you live and you learn. Alright, here's final fitment before the sealant goes on to seal these gaps closed. If you look, it's actually fitting really well, which is a huge lie because it took a lot of work to get here. To show you what's going on, this panel has a bit of a gap. I would say about an 3/16 of an inch, pretty big gap. So I used some foam weather strip from Home Depot to seal that up, and also to help center this panel as I was fitting it up from underneath. Here's a shot of it from the driver's side of things. As you can see, it's pretty flush with the roof. The only part I think is a little bit proud of the roof is right here, and coincidentally it's exactly where I'm going to be looking at. But maybe with some heat and some time, it's going to relax a little bit and sit a little bit flatter. So here we have the underside of it, where I spent a considerable amount of time working on this. As you can see, there are tabs from where the original sunroof cassette mounts to the fiberglass panel, because this eBay panel is actually smaller than the other eBay panels and doesn't have that big of a lip that lets you screw it directly into the sunroof cassette holes. Now, because I had to make these tabs, I could really tailor each tab's height to work and make that panel sit really flush. So that is a little bit of a positive, but in the end, I think I would have spent money on a Morehead Speedworks unit and had the extra large flange so I could just bolt the panel right up to the car and not really have to fiddle with anything else. And there we have it, one sealed up sunroof delete panel. I used DAP Dynaflex Supreme or something like that. It came in a giant squeeze tube, and I picked that because I don't have my caulk gun with me in Texas, and I just didn't want to buy more caulk guns. I already have two. It worked out pretty well. It was 5.5 ounces for a tube, and that is more than enough to do this. I went very heavy so I wouldn't have to add more in later, and there's still a little bit left in that tube. It's less than 10 bucks, so it's a perfectly fine alternative if you don't have all your home improvement tools with you. It is white, unfortunately. I'm not really worried about that part of it though, because we're gonna vinyl over this roof. I'm not gonna vinyl it, but I'm gonna pay somebody else to do it. And then at that point, we are gonna be good to go with the roof, because this is unsealed fiberglass. I didn't want to clear coat it, and this other part of the roof needs something done to it anyway, so why not just vinyl everything at once?
And lastly, here's a sneak peek of the final results.